name's Bella, and welcome to my first YouTube video. I apologize for the quality. I hope it's not just absolutely heinous, but bear with me, please. I'm gonna try and talk softly because I like to watch a lot of YouTubers build in The Sims when I'm going to sleep, and I want you guys to experience that too if you'd like. Today we're building in the world of Strangerville, which has a very Southern Gothic vibe to it. If you know of Ethel Kane, you get it. If you don't, please check her out. Today we're going to be making a Southern Gothic church inspired by Ethel and the general aesthetic of Southern Gothic. So I'll add some photos here of the style so there's some visual context for you. And we're here with one of the townies from Strangerville. I think his original name is Ted. He's canonically the mayor. He's very rich. He has a wife named Meredith. And a little background about him and my save file. I'm studying Italian and I absolutely adore the language and the culture. So I've renamed my worlds and many of the townies to be Italian. So Ted's name is now Teodoro Vecchio. And he's going to be the priest in my save file. And right over here we have his house across from the church. And that's going to be renovated as well as a lot of the other townie houses. So look forward to those builds on my channel. And now we're going to get into this build. Okay, so we're in the gallery now. And this is a screenshot. The video version was so atrocious. I just could not do that to you guys. But we're going to be using this old western church as kind of the shell for my build. This is by Skywalk R21 on the gallery, and you can find this speed build on their YouTube channel, Wolf X Dreamer. I've been watching their stuff and I really enjoyed it, and I thought this would be a perfect build to use my new church CC on. So yeah, definitely check out their channel and let's get into the speed build. Okay, so now we're in speed build territory. Starting off with just deleting these little arrows. I think that's from the original build on the gallery, having stuff that I unfortunately don't have because I don't have all the packs. At least not all the packs that were included in this build. So we're just cleaning those up a little bit and emptying out the inside for the most part, just so I can kind of make it a shell for me to put my stuff into. And then we're moving some stuff around out back. I moved the shed back further, but I do still keep the exterior, the graveyard, the shed, all that stuff, because I really liked how it was originally built anyway. So I thought it was a really good one, and I did keep the lighting too. I liked the two different candles that were used. And then I changed the swatch of the door just to match sort of the lighter vibe that I was going for with the walls. And then I put in these Strangerville windows that were just perfect church windows and looked great with the build. And yeah, I want to get some disclaimers out, I guess, about sort of my build style. I know it's probably a little bit disorganized and jumpy. I'm not super used to doing this because this is my first video building in The Sims for YouTube, and I'm used to just kind of building randomly and all over the place. So if you have any tips for how to keep it a little bit more organized, please let me know, and any feedback about anything is really welcome here. If the speed build is too fast, if it's too slow, let me know. And yeah, anything helps. So we just did the walls and the floors. I chose some CC walls that are like, in the main room there's some exposed brick with plaster, and then the front like entrance area is just plain plaster, and then the flooring is some realistic wood CC flooring. And yeah, I just kind of wanted to go for that like worn look and kind of run down, old, rustic, whatever. If you remember those pictures I showed earlier in the video of the aesthetic, I kind of really wanted to channel that like worn, run-down vibe that it has. So these walls and floors were definitely perfect for that. Yeah, and now we're kind of going in with some decorating. We're adding the pews and stuff. Most of the bulk of the CC that I use in here is by PSB. Don't know if that's like the full name of who created it, but when I search it in BuildBuy, that's how I make the objects come up just by searching PSB. So either way, I will link everything down below in the description. Not sure if I'm going to link it all individually or put it in like a Patreon post or something grouped together where you guys can find it. Also, I'm sorry if you guys can hear anything in the background. Just then, the window in this room is open because it's still a little bit warm out and I didn't want the AC on to get messy with the audio, so that's why. But yeah, the bulk of the CC is from PSB. They made like a whole church stuff pack basically. So we've got like these pews, the organ, the altar, a podium with like the Bible for the priest to read, Bibles, hymn books, altar candles, baptism font, prayer kneeling stations, collection baskets, psalm books, lots of stuff. So yeah, but I definitely want to make sure that's all accessible to you guys because I'm always looking for like what CC people use when they do builds with CC, and yeah, I just want to make sure that everyone is able to have this in their game if they want. But yeah, I guess we'll go into a little bit of detail about sort of the background of this build and a little bit into my save file. So as I said earlier, I'm super into Italian, and I've renamed all of my worlds to be loosely based on what I think their Italian counterpart would be, based on like the geography of it and the environment and stuff like that. So Strangerville is Lazzaretto Vecchio, and that is a place where they used to kind of, I forget if they burned or like buried or just put the sick bodies of people that were affected by the plague there. But I felt like that was very fitting with Strangerville because the people in this town are infected by some mysterious thing. So yeah, that's why I named it that, and that's why the priest's name is Teodoro Vecchio, because I wanted him to kind of, he's the mayor too, so I wanted him to have sort of a connection to the town in his name, if that makes sense. And yeah, I figured out in the midst of doing a makeover on the family of the priest and his wife, that she's pregnant, and I was like, okay, I think my pregnancy settings in game were a little bit wonky and the NPCs were getting pregnant like there was no tomorrow, so I was like, okay, we can work with this. I made him a priest, I made her a nun. I was like, maybe there's a little scandal with that. I made them have a little bit of a dysfunctional relationship because I'm planning now that they're going to have a daughter, and that's going to be basically the Ethel Cain of my game, the preacher's daughter, if you will, as her album states. If you haven't listened to any of her music, I definitely suggest it. Preacher's Daughter is such a beautiful album. It's a masterpiece. I'm obsessed with it and always will be. But yeah, I even got some CC tattoos that are like her tattoos in real life, and I'm really excited to create her once she's born in my game, of course. And yeah, so I thought the dysfunctional relationship between Teodoro and his wife, her name is Martella now, I thought that was kind of fitting with the vibe of the album because it's very religious trauma and sort of dysfunctional childhood, abusive stuff going on, and yeah. So I thought that would add more sort of, you know, my game isn't so perfect and I want it to feel a little bit more realistic, and that includes me adding some struggles to my characters, unfortunately, but yeah. And now we're kind of going in, and I did this little hack with the debug menu of stuff, and I was like, okay, I have my wine bottle and I want to have like a little bowl of Eucharist, the little wafers that they have in church, and I was like, okay, I don't know how to do that, so I went into debug and I got a bowl, and then I found these little pieces of dough, And I was like, perfect, I'll size those down and just raise them up with the 9 key, I believe it is, to raise it up, and then kind of move them over into the bowl, and that became my little Eucharist bowl, and I was really happy with that. I felt very innovative. So yeah, if anyone's looking for a hack for that in a church build, I feel like it's a pretty decent one. And yeah, I'm sorry if I might go in and out of voicing this over. I'm not sure like how good I'm gonna be at thinking of stuff to say for 16 whole minutes while I'm doing this speed build, but we'll see how it goes. So I do apologize if that happens, but yeah, so we've decorated the altar, we've got a cross, we've got some flowers around. I added a couple music instruments in the back just because I felt like the organ was maybe not enough. Like, I feel like they would have a couple more. And I did, you might have seen earlier with the psalm books, I think they might be called hymn books in the stuff pack CC thing that I have, but yeah, those are the things that you like read in church. Everyone like has them and you sing the lyrics basically from them, but they are usually on the back of the pews, and I was thinking that like I was probably just gonna have to raise them up and put them on like the seats of the pews and just kind of like act like that's where they're supposed to go, but then I found out that you can actually put them on the back of the pews. The person that made the CC made slots on the back of the pews, so that was really nice, and I thought that was really cool and just made it a lot better of a build for me. So we just got done putting on some vines and like a little bit of stuff on the exterior to make it more lived in and old, and now I'm taking these, I think these are a wall art thing, but it's a rosary, and I'm kind of hanging them, making it look like they're hanging off of the seats a little bit, and I think I just did it on 3 of the pews. I could be wrong, but yeah, I just wanted to make it look like they're kind of hanging off of them, and like some people have some rosaries there with them. And then we kind of go into wall art, and I have a lot of kind of Catholic looking paintings and wall art because I just in general really enjoy the aesthetic of it. I was raised Roman Catholic, and although I don't go to church anymore, I still do enjoy the architecture and the art that comes out of it. And these 2 paintings going up front have little like prayers on them, I believe. And then yeah, we just kind of put a bunch of paintings of like the Virgin Mary and Christ and stuff like that all around. There's one over there in the corner that has like the wine and the Eucharist in it. Yeah, and that's kind of like all I have to say for now. I think soon I'm gonna be doing the like kind of livening up the interior, like making it look a little bit more run down, making it look a little bit more lived in. And I do that with a lot of, yeah, here I go. We put some spider webs in. I also really enjoy it. I don't know if you can see it right now, but you will hopefully see it in the tour at the end. But I put a little like deer skull, or maybe a bull skull. I think it might be a bull. That is a CC item as well. But you can, if you have Horse Ranch, there is a skull in there that's not as realistic, but if you wanted to do that, you could put that there. I think it's really fitting for the like Ethel Cain vibe of it all. And yeah, we're just putting in some stuff from mostly vampires, I think, that's like making the walls look a little scratched and cracked and chipping and stuff. And I also used right here, I think this is from the Chipped and something CC pack of just some like items that can make your walls and stuff look a little bit more run down and lived in, and I will definitely link that below too. I forget completely what it's called. I know there's the word chipped in there, but yeah, we use a little bit of that. And now we're getting into some landscaping. I think I tried to find some stuff like from vampires, werewolves, Strangerville, maybe Horse Ranch, and just base game stuff. And I just wanted it all to like look kind of like it belonged, and I felt like those packs went well together. And then I am extending the roof because I forgot that bit. And I put in this really big tree in the back because I thought that it looked really nice, and I was thinking like it's just like a solid tree. I really liked it. And yeah, and then we kind of go more into landscaping and putting in some bushes, some grass. It kind of looks a little bit dead, and then I wanted to bring in some aspects of Strangerville back into it to really connect it to the surrounding area. So I'm putting some cactus and succulent plants in there. And then I think we moved the graveyard back a little bit, just so there was more space in the front. But yeah, this like dead grass from Horse Ranch was really nice. I believe this build was originally in the Horse Ranch world, which is Chestnut Ridge, I believe. So a lot of that was used already, and I was like, I really like it, so I'll just put some more in where I want it. And yeah, we moved the graveyard back a little bit, put some new graveyards in, some gravestones, I mean. We put some new ones in, and yeah, just like fixing up the landscaping. And yes, I don't know if I mentioned this before, but if I didn't, there's a little like rundown rusty truck outside, and I really liked that. I think that it's from Freak's Life is Strange conversions. They convert a lot of things from the Life is Strange game into CC for The Sims. But I just really like the vibe of it, and I felt like it fit with the build a lot, and I was thinking maybe that's like the preacher's car or something like that. But yeah, and then I add this like thing on the top to make the sort of, I don't really know what it's called, like the bell tower part of the church, like the really high part of the church. I wanted to make it a little bit more spiky, so I added that on top, and then we're putting some stairs in the front. I think I ended up just going with some wood stairs and some railings from vampires that looked really nice. Yeah, but most of the exterior is pretty much the same because it was done really well already, so there wasn't much I really felt like I wanted to change. And yeah, that's basically the speed build. I'm just kind of going back in with some small details here, changing up the swatches of the psalm books because I wanted them to look a little bit more random and yeah, just a little bit more realistic. So that's pretty much it for the speed build. Okay, so this little part before the tour, I'm just putting in a name for the build. I chose to name it Southern Gothic Church, and then just picking some traits for it. And I believe I just set it as a generic lot, and I picked the church trait, the graveyard trait, good acoustics, penny pixies, and convivial. And the church and graveyard traits are modded lot traits. I needed the church trait for the pastor career mod that I have for Teodoro, so that's why I chose that. I will link those all as well in the description so you guys can have kind of the full build as accurate as possible. And I also added the lot challenge of Haunted, I believe it's called. It's where a lot of ghosts spawn on the lot, so I felt like that was fitting since there's a graveyard and just to give it more of a creepy vibe. But yeah, we're just picking traits and making it more lively, giving it some character, and then we'll get into the tour. Okay, so we're finally at the tour. We're just doing the exterior first. So there's the graveyard, the little shed out back, and just kind of the exterior of the building with the truck and the sign and the entrance and everything. And then we'll get to the inside, and entering through this front door, I didn't mention before, but this is a cottage living door, and it's just very beautiful. So we're entering into the building, up to the altar with all its decorations, its Eucharist and wine, getting to the music section with the big organ, and you'll notice the ceiling is very bright white, an eyesore, if I do say so myself. I will say that I changed that later on, so if you do download this from the gallery, that will be fixed. But yeah, that's just the interior of the build, and yeah, I'm very proud of this one, and thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed. Leave your comments below, any feedback is welcome, and look forward to more Sims builds on my channel.